So now is the time to move on to our first fireside chat, which is the rise of creator economy in India. Friends, you've heard creator economy of late. Well, it includes anyone who uses social media and platforms to monetize their fan base. Much of the growth in the creator economy is underpinned by the shift in the media consumption. Today, we have with us Mr. Ishan Jindal, who is the founder Wobb, with us Mr. Alok Kohli, who is the Senior Director, Franchisee PepsiCo. Also, he's a content creator to talk more on rise of creator economy in India. You may please start the discussion.
All right. Hi, everyone. Just quickly start with the introduction. We are going to talk about the rise of creator economy in India, and we have Alok, who's the Senior Director, Franchisee at PepsiCo. Just before we do that, I'm just going to quickly introduce myself. We're going to go to Alok, understand Alok's background, and then we'll move to the topic of the day, which is the rise of creator economy in India. So I'm Ishan. I am the founder of Wobb. Wobb is an influencer marketing company. We are based out of Gurgaon. We've been into existence for about 2 years, and we currently operate in about 4 to 5 regions: India, GCC, SEA, Southeast Asian countries, US and Brazil. We work with many of the India's largest brands, and we help them with their barter and paid campaigns. We have Alok from Pepsi. Alok, would you like to quickly start with your introduction, and then we can move on to the topic for the day?
Yeah. Hi, Ishan. Thanks for having me over. You announced my designation. I am Senior Director Franchise. I work for PepsiCo, responsible for beverage sales for India, Lanka, and Nepal. Very happy to be here.
Awesome. Good to have you. Alok and I obviously know each other from past, and I've personally had the chance to kind of understand from him some of his thoughts on marketing in general. And I'm really glad that he'll be sharing some of those with everyone today. Alok, the topic in discussion is the rise of creator economy in India, right? And if you see, really, creators and the economy around creators have largely developed and still at its infancy right now. And most of this has accelerated post-COVID. Post-COVID, we've seen a surge in the number of creators because there's free time. Creators can talk about their passion, record that, and put it out online. We've also seen rising number of people using social media. This is perhaps due to the penetration of smartphones in India, and then followed by cheaper data, which means more people can access internet. And then finally, COVID accelerated all of this because people had more time to spend in their houses. So they were spending time on social media, looking at products, and doing online shopping for the first time, when actually brick and mortar kind of disappeared for a while. So all of this has given a huge rise in creators, and there are newer opportunities that are coming in on a daily basis around creators. And there's an economy that we are expecting around creators that would sort of show up. What do you think are the key enablers that are causing this rise, other than the ones that I've talked about? From the brands front, how are you looking at it? I want to understand, is it something that's is it just like a one-off thing, or do you think that creators are actually driving meaningful value, or there are other key enablers that are going to make sure that the creator economy rises? And how do you foresee the rise in general?
Yeah, great question, Ishan. Like you said, I think lots of enablers, almost came together to propel this. I think, if you view it from the view of a consumer, right, who's consuming that content, I think if you have an interest, you will find somebody speaking meaningfully about it. And what that really results is an amazing level of engagement between both the creator as well as the consumer. And that would enable, I think, almost countless possibilities. And the possibilities would range from a very basic I like to view this content, and therefore I go ahead and just follow the person, to really to subscribing, to buying those endorsements. I just think the entire ecosystem around this is becoming more and more powerful every day. And I just think this will just go further.
Awesome. Perfect. So what I understand is the you think that the key enabler, other than obviously some of the facts that led this whole creator economy to start, it is a value that is inherently driven by creators today, which is the content that they're able to consume. There is a demand for that kind of content, and that is basically the key enabler in this whole economy. Interesting. So based on looking at that, Alok, where do you think is the opportunity really lie for creators or for brands, right? Like, where do you think is the exact opportunity that I can tap on as a creator to perhaps make some revenue, make some money? I know my followers like the content that they want to actually see product discovery related content. Do you see opportunities that will show up perhaps other than the core ones that we know, influencer marketing? And even within influencer marketing, what are your thoughts are in general around the opportunities for creators?
So Ishan, I think when you look at it, let's say from a business standpoint, right, I think different businesses are using this entire ecosystem at different levels of the funnel, right? So right from, let's say, an awareness to engagement, disposition, to finally really actually making a sale, right? So that's the entire spectrum, and different brands are using it very, very effectively. I mean, PepsiCo had done a tie-up with Money Heist, and we'd taken out special cans. And we tied up with Yashraj Mukhate, and he did a very cool version of Bella Ciao. It drove amazing amount of engagement. You should check it out if you've not seen it. I just think it's brilliant. Yeah, and on the other side, you see this entire set of D2C brands, and forget D2C brands. I think if you look at creators, you probably find solopreneurs themselves, right, who are trying to monetize their merchandise or look at subscription. I think so. Both businesses, collaborating with these creators, I think there's a really, really smart ecosystem where both would benefit and benefit really well.
Awesome. Good. So I want to talk about something that you talked about. You said there are brands that are meaningfully are able to engage with creators like Yashraj Mukhate. You did something very interesting there. I've not checked it out, but I will definitely do that. And you talked about that different brands have different objectives, right? Like sometimes you're looking at right from awareness, then you're looking at consideration, and you're looking at conversions, right? Like how do you really decide as a brand? Or is there a way brands can think about it? What should they be really aiming to get out of the influencers or creators that they're working with? That's one of my questions. And I do want to talk about something very interesting that you talked about, which is influencers are becoming solopreneurs, like they're becoming entrepreneurs themselves, and there are newer opportunities there also. But first piece around this, how do you think brands should look at influencers, and what kind of objectives should they be having? Should it be different kinds of influencers or different kinds of at different stages of funnel? How are you perhaps looking at it, and what would be your advice to anyone who's looking at this?
So Ishan, there isn't one right answer for this. I think it really depends on the brand and what its objectives are. Yeah, if you're talking about any mass market brand, say maybe classically, say maybe an FMCG, business, you're pretty much trying to operate at the upper end of, driving awareness, engagement, etc. Right? And then you have, say maybe specialized products which are really targeted to a niche, and those are where it starts to move towards the bottom of the funnel. So there's no one right answer. It really depends on the brand category, what the objectives are, what stage the brand is at, is it new, etc., etc. Yeah. So it's the fact is that the creator economy can enable a lot of what you're trying to accomplish. Yeah, it really depends on on how and for what you engage and work with them.
Right, fair. I mean, I would also like to add, because we've been working with so many brands, we've kind of done over 5,000 campaigns. And I think this is one of the questions I was excited to know your viewpoint. And also, some of the viewpoints that are shared are exactly what Alok said. So there's no one right answer to this. Perhaps different brands would have different objectives, and each of those objectives can kind of be fulfilled with influencers or with the kind of different variety of influencers that are present today. If you want to focus on awareness, you go with macro influencers, you focus slightly lifestyle. You want to go focus on sales, you hit the smaller influencer, maybe slightly one who has more influence, more engagement, and who specializes in that particular field. And I think what influencer marketing for creators have been able to do, like Alok said, if based on your objective, you could really hit the right set of creator base and achieve your goals. That was nice. Alok, also wanted to understand.
To add to that, I think when you have influencer credibility, I think that's a significant driver, and it really cuts across between the size of influencer, be it a macro, or a nano. But when, say, a brand objective aligns with what the influencer and the influencers following is about, I think it's an extremely powerful collaboration.
Right. Fair enough. So going back to, I think this helps us answer our question: what is really leading to the rise of creator economy? Other than the parameters that we talked about, other than the extrinsic external parameters, intrinsically creators are able to drive meaningful communication, meaningful messaging, and the fact that they're able to add a lot of credibility irrespective of the brand, right? It's an unknown brand, the creator talks about it, the followers start trusting it, right? So it does add a lot of credibility. It does give an opportunity for brands to kind of go out and target certain specific audience and followers. And that, I think, perhaps is one of the reasons what is leading to the rise of creator economy within the influencer marketing space. But I want to take a step back and talk about without influencer marketing, right? Like something outside influencer marketing, because we see on a daily basis there's so many opportunities that are being created for creators. We are hearing about NFTs. We're hearing about creators, like you rightly said, setting up their merchandise shops, right? They're setting up their own brands. There is different kinds of opportunities that have come up. What are your thoughts on that? Where do you see that going? What are the trends that you are seeing perhaps in the space today? Yeah,
I think it's such an evolving space. I think you hear about or read about something new almost every other day. I think influencers having storefronts and their own set of brands or products that they are either selling themselves or collaborating with other brands is not very far off. I mean, if without taking names, there is a influencer who speaks about diet and exercise that somebody follows, and and you come to trust, and if that person is selling something, then as a consumer you would obviously have that affinity. And if you I mean, the other day I was interacting with a group of college kids, and their engagement interaction with some of their influencers is mind blowing. Just way deeper than what anyone can realize. I mean, it was almost like the conversation was almost like it was a one-to-one, like Alok knows Ishan, and Alok is speaking about Ishan in first person, and Ishan is an influencer that Alok has never met. So and I think this kind of engagement will translate into commerce sooner or rather than later, and I'm sure we're going to start to see some fairly big for lack of a better word, startups or businesses come out of this sooner rather than later.
Right. Amazing. So largely, there's a huge engagement that creators are there's a huge, very strong connect that creators are able to develop with their audience. That engagement not only helps them sell products of brands and do the sponsorships, but we are now starting to look at creators monetizing their own set of audience, like you said, for their own product, for their own brands. Recently, I think there's this a company which is a YouTube channel, which perhaps is, I think, achieved a unicorn status, just selling content to their, just selling educational content to their own set of audience, right? Like now we are seeing creators creating that scale of businesses where they are kind of doing tens of millions of dollars of revenue, some even touching hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue. We've seen that outside India a lot, but we started seeing that now coming in India as well. So this is very interesting to see, and there are so many opportunities, like you rightly said, right? Like merchandises is one. You know, you don't really have to do merchandise. You can, if you're a fitness influencer, you can create your own online virtual one-on-one training session with people where people pay a subscription fee. So subscription is the second thing that you talked about. And so many other opportunities are perhaps on the way. It's basically whosoever is able to monetize their distribution really, really well kind of wins the game.
No, very true. I think subscription is almost like, is just a start of any kind of business. And I think the examples of people selling t-shirts and caps are quite a few. Examples of collaboration and endorsements are quite a few. But I genuinely believe that there would be models that will emerge simply because of the kind of following and engagement that they drive. So
Awesome. Okay, great. So I guess Alok, we get a lot of this question, but I want to take your viewpoint also on this. We work with close to 150,000 influencers in India, right? And we help them with their brand sponsorships. And we are actively also looking at creator economy and seeing how the space develops, right? And where all creators can kind of monetize, perhaps with storefronts, perhaps with other areas, right? Helping them with subscriptions. We're kind of looking at it from a lens, from a slightly external lens, but also internally working with some of these creators and helping push some of these things forward and trying and testing it out. A lot of our creator base in fact, come to us, they ask us, how do I stand out, and how do I become the one, or how can I really push commerce or do other things and monetize amongst all these other creators, right? How do I stand out? How do I succeed? And while we believe that everybody can, right? We believe that every creator can, but is there any advice that you have for any creators who's watching this content today on how can they stand out to get more sponsorships, to perhaps drive more ROI from their distribution network that they've built, which is their audience? What would be your advice on that?
No, I genuinely believe that they are because of the content that they create. I think everything else happens because of what they create. I mean, if you follow any influencer, you are aware of the conversation that they have, the style of conversation, and what they speak, and it resonates with you as a consumer. And I think, I that's the backbone. Everything else is something that will come along. So I mean, my two-bit to the very, very learned set of influencers that you have on your platform is if you get the content right and you're true to the people who follow you, you know them better than anybody else does, and you will find brands that will find meaning in the relationship that you have with your followers.
Great. I think I'll pass that message on. But very interestingly, I think this also connects to some of the things that you talked about, right? Like the case where you were talking about some of the students talking about an influencer as if they know him, right? Directly. You've spoken to them. They're like friends, they're brothers. It just really so because they connect really well with the creator, right? And that connect is what creators can carefully monetize without compromising on the content quality, because they will continue. They need to continue to resonate with their audience, right? They'll need to have that strong connect, even if they're monetizing their content or even if they're monetizing their channel. And I think that's the key that you're talking about is very, very important. And I will definitely take that and pass on that message. I do have another question, which is the flip side, right? We've talked about how do influencers stand out among, how do brands do it, right? How, the flip side, there's so many brands that want to now do influencer marketing or want to work with creators. What's your suggestion, or how do you think particularly that brands should stand out? What should they do that they seem different than the others in the market doing it?
Ishan, I think it's every marketer's dream to create that content that goes crazy viral, and I think that's the endeavor. Yeah, but that's also the output. I think the starting point is to find great fits. Yeah, the starting point is to really get that integration well. Yeah, so for that you need to get the influencer, and the influencer needs to get you. And I'm really talking macro influencers here. I mean, let me give you an example, right? So I spoke about Money Heist, which was focused on say maybe towards a slightly younger TG, very sort of metro forward, etc., etc. And then I think recently, we did a 7-Up led campaign on Pongal, and for that we used locally relevant influencers that focused on the markets where Pongal is big. Yeah, so I think brands fundamentally need to know what they want to do, where they want to do it, and who's really the best fit, and then really choose the right set. And I think this needs to be seen with the comment that I made on what level of the funnel that brands are operating on. Yeah, so there's the strategy of what you really want to achieve, and then really finding the right fit, and then rely on the influencer to create content that would be very, very cool.
Awesome. I'm just going to quickly add on to that, because when we are working with different brands, right, we always go with two set of things, and I think maybe that can be one way of looking at things as well. Is that there's something that you'd like to do which is an always on campaign, but then there is always something that you do campaign specific, right? Like you will understand what your objectives are for that particular campaign. It could be perhaps leveraging an occasion like a World Women Health Day or World Health Day, or doing something specific to say a festival, a language, and kind of dividing that and having that divide is extremely important, right? Knowing what you're doing on a daily basis or on a monthly basis, always on basis, so that you are leveraging influencer base, perhaps at scale, doing thousands of influencers on a barter, or giving them small payouts, maybe engaging with certain macro, just to kind of keep introducing the newer range that keeps coming in, or something or the other. While there is an objective that you kind of have that is very clear, what you're looking for, and go extremely deep dive into it, understanding the creator base, understanding the fit, and trying to leverage that fit. I have one question, which is, I think, summarizing this entire thing. Kind of wanted to know, we've talked about everything on some of the things that have helped creator economy come to where it is. And we've kind of established really well that creators are here to stay because they are adding a lot of value. They are having a very strong connect with their audience. So that connect, as long as that exists, right, as long as their audience resonates with the creator, they'll be able to monetize. Brands will be able to monetize. But from here on, right, from now on to say next 5 years, what do you think would be some enablers that will ensure that the creator economy rises even faster? And what should be the things that we should be looking at, or brands should be on a lookout for, or creators should be on a lookout for, the critical thresholds that will really give a push to creator economy from here on?
I think
also, just to add to it, and what do you think would be the role of, now that's a little, because I wanted to ask you from the perspective of a marketer, I also wanted to understand what do you think would be the role of platforms in that, right? Because we've kind of seen that shift happening where a lot of agencies are kind of folding into platforms. People need it faster, people need more options, So I wanted to understand in the larger creator economy aspect, what do you think would be the role of platforms as well? And what would be the other key enablers? And do you even see platform to be one of the enablers, perhaps?
I think, Ishan, if you look at, let's say, the content creator ecosystem, right? I think a few years back, there weren't as many tools available to them as there are today. And as it becomes bigger, I think the tools will become sharper, more astute, and enable even better quality content and its distribution. Yeah. Uh, I think it's here to stay as a mix, in any marketeer's, plan for the year. Yeah, and that attribution, money is potentially bound to grow. Yeah, and as it grows, there's obviously uh, an intent. I mean, marketeers would at the end of the day look at ROI, right? I think that measurement, that output, and also I think getting much sharper and more astute in the choices that you make will play a significant role. Yeah. I know in one of our earlier conversations, you spoke about, micro influencers, you spoke about nano influencers, and I think they have a significant role, especially, given the kind of engagement and credibility, that they drive. So using them effectively is super important. And as the scale goes up, as the number of influencers, especially with the nano and the micro influencers, it's tough to it's tough for any marketer to manage it and manage it effectively without these tools. So I think the creator ecosystem platforms, all have a role. Also, I think this is segmentation at its prime, right? I mean, if there's an interest of 100 people and there's somebody speaking to those 100 people, and that's the level of customization that can exist. So obviously there'll potentially be a bit of a rethink in terms of how do you speak with different people and in what voices and how. So uh, really long question to your answer, but in short, yeah, it will explode.
Awesome. Great. Interesting. So largely, what my takeaway from this would be that when we're looking at creator economy, now we are actually talking about some of these very small nano and micro creators becoming part of this economy as well. And the reason for that, as I understand, is, and we've seen it internally, right? Like we've also been there where 2 years back when we kind of started it out, we were doing we're working with brands who are doing 20, 30 influencers every month, right? Now we are at the scale where we are able to engage because of these tools with 5,000 influencers in a week, right? Now, those creators were never part of this economy so much or so deeply integrated with the economy. And I think a large part of the push is going to happen in the nano and micro region as these creators become more accessible, these creators become more manageable, and the conversations become, or the tools make the conversations with these creators more personalized, right? And with ease. Because if you're not doing that, then you perhaps cannot achieve the scale which you can with one macro creator. To kind of subside for that, you will have to have 100 micro creators or nano creators speaking if you are replacing or you're not doing the macro one. And that's where the tools I think you mentioned would be a key enabler.
And it need not be either or, right? It's more likely not a replacement, but actually a complement of So yeah, fair point.
Awesome. This was great. Thanks, Alok, for your time. Really appreciate all the time you've spent in talking to us and helping us navigate through some of our questions that we had in creator economy. For all the creators who are listening to us, I think the key takeaway from our conversation with Alok is just make sure that the content that you're creating resonates with your audience, like have that strong connect. And there are opportunities that are coming. It's still evolving, the whole creator economy space, but we've already seen early level opportunities that are coming up, and there are more that will come up along the way. But as long as you have that strong connect and you are able to resonate really well with your audience, you will be able to monetize in the future, if not now, right? So stay to it and keep doing it. And thanks Alok for coming today, and thanks Bijoy for conducting this, where Alok and I could share our thoughts, and to AdGully team. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure, Ishan. Thanks for having me over.
It was really, really good to have you all with us throughout the sessions, and it was an absolute delight to listen to all of you on influencer marketing. But guys, this is not all. We'll be coming back tomorrow with some more interesting discussions, same time, 2 p.m. onwards. Stay tuned, do log in at the same link. In case you have forgotten the link, you can also find it in AdGully's chat box, or you can call our team at AdGully to assist you further on this. And in case you have missed today's session, then what you can do? You can always watch it on YouTube channel of AdGully in the name of AdGully only. And I must say, do follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn too. So if you have liked the today's session, you can also tag us on your social media handles using hashtag DIGIXX2022. So tomorrow we'll be talking on different topics. Firstly, we'll be talking on accelerating adoption on emerging channels, DOOH, connected TV, audio, the challenges and opportunities. Along with this, we'll be talking on AI performance marketing, along with it on connected TV, advertising, the do's, don'ts, and best practices. Apart from this, we'll talk on cookieless future is here and now, how geared the advertisers to adapt to it. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in today and watching us in today's session. See you all tomorrow. Till then, you all take very good care of yourself. Namaskar.